5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have.
Hey, welcome back to Main Event Combat, the podcast. I'm your host, Haven Harrington, joined by always by the illustrious, the awesome,
Mhm.
Hands of Stones herself, Miss Katie Marks. Katie, how you doing?
Great tonight. Ready to talk about more boxing. How's it going?
Heck yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I'm excited to talk some boxing too, and introduce our guest we have here.
We have Yorman Guerrero from fighting out of Indiana, just across the bridge with the Latin roots in the house. He was also on the Superstars of Boxing card, so we're super excited to get to know him a little bit tonight.
It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you guys having me on. So, it means the world to me. I'm honored to just be here. So I appreciate it.
All
We
right, good
appreciate
deal.
you, man. Yeah.
So, yo, man, you was on the Superstars of Boxing there. Tell us, like, what the atmosphere was like. Tell us a little about your opponent and kind of describe your fight and what happened.
No, honestly, so shout out to Nick Bears, because he puts on a great show. Like I fought on, I think this was my third time on Superstars of Boxing, and he keeps it. Hey, every show that he does, he just keeps it getting better and better. From the ones that I've been on, every time it gets better. The atmosphere there was ecstatic. At first when I was looking, I was like, "Oh crap, it's starting to get full here." And then before I knew it, it was packed. It was a packed house. So it was cool. It was cool atmosphere. I had a lot of my people out there. A lot of them drove from either from Columbus, so I live in Columbus, Indiana, but I commute to Indianapolis to train about 3 4 days a week. So all my Columbus people, my Indy people, they all showed love, and they made the drives. So that meant a lot to me. And then just coming out as soon as my song came out, man, I was lit. Everybody went crazy. Being the co-main event was just, that was an honor. Just being able to co-main an event, there with Nick at the Superstars of Boxing was awesome. And then obviously I had all my people shouting my name and going crazy. So that's always a good feeling. And then as far as my opponent, shout out to him. Very respectful, very great boxer. Actually, he was very technically sound. Um, Great defense, great footwork. He could box. He knew his stuff. So shout out to him. And I'm always real honored and humbled to share the ring with anybody, because at the end of the day, we're both of us, we're putting our lives on the line for the fans and everything. So for me, it's always, I try to put on a show for the fans because they come out and support. And I always, and I have a saying, anytime anybody comes out and watches me fight, you're either gonna get guaranteed violence, blood, or somebody gonna get hurt. So you get all that when you come see me. So shout out to my opponent, very respectful guy. Very very class act. And I'm big on sportsmanship. I don't like the back and forth. Just like you know, I, that's just not me. Like whatever we got to say, we say it with these in the ring.
That's
So
right.
There you
um,
go.
because at the end of the day, I mean, I understand for marketing, you got to talk a little crap, but I don't like. I'm just not one to do all that. I'm just like, man, we gonna get in the ring anyway. So whatever you say to me, we gonna solve this one way or the other. So I don't like animosity. Maybe as I climb the ranks, I might have to, but you know, I carry myself to a certain degree. I like to be respectful and just try to be a class act. So.
Okay,
Definitely.
okay.
I was happy to see a fight go past the first round.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
we
it
we
was
went
pretty much
we
a
went
knockout
three.
night. The
Yeah, we
round
went three.
three, yeah.
Yep. No, that I'm telling you, shout out to my opponent because he could box. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm,
usually, like yeah, he could box. He knew his stuff. So I was like, all right, I can't rush in and do nothing dumb because if I do, I run the risk of getting countered or I might get hit with something that I didn't see. So I had to take my time. Chop at the tree a little bit, and then and then things happen. That's the beauty of boxing.
Yep, yep. Tell us,
All righty.
it was your
So
fourth. Go ahead, Haven. Sorry.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
That was your fourth career fight.
That is correct. Yes,
Fight.
ma'am.
Do you have
Yes.
you want to tell us about your amateur background a little bit?
Yeah, as an amateur, I actually here in Indiana, I won the Golden Glove State Championships 4 years in a row. I actually used to fight at well, the first year I won it was at 178, and then I won it at 165 every other year. And then I was part of the national team twice. I went out there and competed. Um, you know, I wish I could say I had 200 fights, 300 fights. Like some of the greats, but I had a pretty short. I had a pretty short amateur career. I only had about like 40 fights as an amateur, so it wasn't 100, 150 like you see most pros, but as an amateur, it was fun. The tournaments like back in the day, it was I remember ringside was one of my favorite tournaments to go to. That was the competition there was stiff, so I think that carried over a lot into the professional ring is just learning how to you know, manage everything from cutting weight, getting ready for fights, and just approaching everything. Even though the amateur and the pro is a little different, as far as like style and pace. As an amateur, I used to be just a very high volume fighter, right? So I was just throwing punches and bunches. Like that bell rang and I came out and I threw as many punches as I could, and you know my goal was to just wear you out. But in the professional, it's a little different. You can't just
Right.
go out there and just throw punches just to throw punches. Because one, you got smaller gloves, and two, if you know you're open to a lot of other things. So I've I definitely have adapted my style, and that's also thanks to my coach. So shout out to my coach Patrick McPherson out of Indie Boxing and Grappling, um, because when I first came in, when I first started fighting, I was just like a brawler. I just volume, and then he taught me how to box, how to move, how to use a jab because
Mhm.
especially in pro boxing, you gotta have a good jab. You
You
can't
need
you can't
that.
fight.
That's the
Yeah,
foundation.
exactly. So, I it was definitely a switch in pace and just me learning to actually like box. Just because like you mentioned earlier, right? Like I have Hispanic roots and we're all very gun ho. We die on our shield. That's just how I. That's kind of how I fight, anyways. But you know, being smart and being able to actually box and recognizing, like my last opponent, like the guy I just fought, as soon as the first like 10, 15 seconds, I was like, okay, he can box. He knows what he's doing. I can't
Mhm.
go in here and I can't get crazy. I gotta set him up. I gotta pick my shots. So it's definitely very different amateur to pro. But I think my amateur career definitely helped me shape into the professional that I am becoming.
You
Oh wow,
definitely had to.
yeah. Now talking about that transition. So like, how hard was it to go from a Brooklyn brawler to more of like your classic boxers? That's like those are two totally different styles of fighting.
Yeah, well, so I I didn't used to jab a lot, and it's definitely very different because I'm Mexican, right? So like my style is we come forward, we throw punches, hooks, uppercuts, very just forward. But then as I started, learning how to box and everything, I started looking. I just watch a lot of film, right? So like I watch a lot of the greats. I just to this day, I still watch film. But then I noticed that some of the greatest fighters, like for me, it was I always watch Roberto Duran. I love him. I love his style. But he wasn't just a brawler. He actually, he had good defense. He could fight. Watching Sugar Ray Robinson move around the ring. You got Muhammad Ali. You got Julio Cesar Chavez. So it was just like watching all kinds of different styles and trying to put it together. Because learning how to box, I always tell people, fighting is easy, but boxing, that's a whole science, right? It's like it's
Definitely.
timing, it's inches, it's setting up combinations. It's almost like you're playing a really advanced level of like chess with humans, I guess, because you do something to try to get your opponent to do something so that you can. So it's just back and forth. So that transition was definitely, it was a little hard at first because I remember there was times where my coach would just be like, just box, you know. In sparring, he'd be like, just jab. I just want you to jab and move, and then I'd be sitting here getting, punched with stuff, and I'm like, I want to throw something else, but I always tell people you gotta learn the basics and the fundamentals first before you can do anything else.
Definitely. You got to come back to the fundamentals every day because it begins everything. And there's always a big difference between fighting and boxing. And that's all I knew how to do too, whether it be a basketball court or a softball field or wrestling mat. It's go get them. But just like you said, like you better learn an angle. You better learn the
Hmm.
footwork to go with the hands because the footwork is the hands. A lot of people are just like focus on your hands, but if your feet aren't under there and you don't have the foundation under your hands ain't gonna do anything. So
Exactly. And that's the first thing that gets tired in the ring is your legs.
first
Like
thing.
if you can't move your legs, you can't punch nobody. So
Hmm.
I definitely agree with that.
And no power behind it either, because if your legs are being the most powerful part of your body, that's where your power is coming from. Your arms are gonna die if you're just gonna stand there and throw punches.
Exactly. Hey, you get it. You know what I'm saying? You understand it. So
Yeah, definitely. But
Man,
yeah, that's great.
looks like you kind of made major switch now. So now, do you feel comfortable now with the more boxing style with jabbing, kind of sticking and moving? Have you kind of gotten comfortable with that yet? Or are you still getting comfortable with it?
so I mix it up. It's not like I'm just a boxer now. It's not like I just box. So like I use my movement to set up into my fighting. So like um what's it called? Like it's not like I just go in and just try to box. Like I'll set up, the because for me the first round, the first couple seconds is a feeler, right? Because I want to see what my opponent's gonna do. I want I want to see what reaction they'll have, right? And it's like like she was saying, you got to use your feet to get you where you want, from ring to, because like I could sit in a corner and throw punches all day, but if my opponent is moving around constantly and I don't know how to move my feet, then I'm not gonna be able to catch him. And that's what happened this last fight. My opponent was really good at moving. He kept L stepping. He kept angles. He just kept moving. So if I didn't know how to move my feet the way I do now, I think I would have had a little bit more trouble with him because he probably would have outpointed me. Just because I wouldn't be able to to catch him. So me learning to actually move around the ring and cutting off angles and just finding my opponent, I think that pays dividends because naturally, like I like to brawl, like that's just what I like to do. you know, like I'll stand and bang. That's like my favorite thing to do. Like I'll brawl. That's like that's what I want to do, but that's not how I'm gonna start off. If that makes sense.
Yeah. You gotta go take the fight to them, but you don't want to go in blindly, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's like it's just it's like I try to be methodical with it, right? But it's like with boxing, like you can't be too pretty either. Like boxing is it's a beautiful it's a sweet science, but there's also a level of savagery that you have to be able to you got to bring that dog out of you. It's like I got cut, and a lot of people when they get cut or they get punched, that's when you see their true colors. That's what I tell people in the ring. The ring doesn't lie to you, because how you react to certain things happening to you is either how you train or how you carry yourself. And me, like you cut me, I'm coming forward. Like you cut me, I'm gonna get my back. You know what I'm saying? So, um, just because like I've also fought on Team Combat League. I
Okay.
had the honor of fighting for the Boston Butchers this year, um, back in June 20th. So, and that was a whole different ball game. Like there,
Ball
I had to
game,
come,
yeah.
I literally just had to come out and boom. You know what I'm saying? And the guy I fought too, he was a lot taller than me, but I overwhelmed him with with
Punches.
pressure. Yeah, because it's different. That's why I tell people Team Combat League is different than professional boxing. Like Team Combat League is cool because like you get a lot of fights, but you gotta go. You
Just one
can't.
round, just go.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. You
you
gotta
know,
go.
for those of our people watching who are not familiar with Team Combat League, kind of gives an idea of what that's like, or what is Team Combat League.
So it's basically like team versus team. There's like there's 12 weight classes. If don't quote me on that, but you have every single weight class competing. So it's a league of men and women. So you're fighting another team. So like for me, I was with the Boston Butchers and we fought against Miami. So it goes by round. So every fight that happens is one round, but whoever wins that round gets the points for the round. And at the end of all the fights, whatever team has the most points is who moves on to the next round, if that makes sense. And it's very it's very high paced, very very high paced. There's a lot of action. Like if you want to see action, a lot of people complain, oh, boxing, takes too long. Go watch Team Combat League. Like every fight you see, guaranteed. Like you're gonna see fights. So
You better go with teams. Imagine there's no playing out, no vibe. You better go beat them right
No,
away.
you just gotta go.
yeah, you just gotta go. You just throw. You just gotta go. That's one of those things where it's like, for me, I have to just be naturally aggressive. Like I just gotta come out and just you know, pressure at the end of the day, because if not, I might, I might get outboxed, or I might get outpointed. And the thing with that is like, even though it's an individual fight, you got a team that's shouting, rooting for you. Because at the end of the day, it's a team. It's a team thing. It's an individual, fight, but you are fighting as a team. And I really like I enjoyed that. I can't wait to be back. So I'm definitely doing that again if I get the opportunity.
Oh, good. That was my next question, man. If you're gonna do it again, or more importantly, so like,
Absolutely.
what's next, man?
Yeah.
You had a great fight down here in Louisville, Kentucky. You train out of Naptown, so like, what's next for you?
So right now, I'm really just I'm trying to climb the ranks. Right. I'm trying to move up the ladder. Just like every boxer does. You got to climb that ladder. I'm chasing greatness, and I'm chasing legacy. I'm just I'm trying to get my name out there. So right now, like especially for social media, I'm trying to get my social media up a little bit, just because like especially nowadays, you got to have a little bit of a social media following. You know, because that's how promoters know, hey, you can sell. This kid sells. So for me, what's next right now is just keep climbing the ranks, keep fighting. Um, because I'm trying to be on TV. I'm trying to fight. I'm trying to fight on the world stage. So at the end of the day, like I just I want to be able to fight on TV and say, hey, I fought on TV, or hey, I fought on a world stage. So right now it's just it's like every boxer, right? You got that. Everybody's got to do that climb. You got to do it. Unless you got money, like all these influencers and whatever. That's a different story though. Um, but as far as for me right now, we're just gonna keep, uh, stay in the gym, keep training. Oh, was she saying
All right.
something?
So no, for all those folks who want to follow my man, his IG's right there at the bottom, so you can look at it right there. Give him some follows. He needs as many subscribers we can get him. We need to get up to 10,000
That's
subscribers
right.
on IG. He needs 10,000 followers on IG, so help him out. Because trust me, he gets 10,000 followers on IG, and you guys are kind of with him, then he will. He'll definitely be in some more fights.
We get some big fights too. That's the
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? I think we got Katie back. She dropped out for a little bit, but I think she'll drop
Yeah, I
back
think
in.
she was trying to say something and then she cut out for a little bit. So
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. But once again, check my man Yorman Guerrero on IG, right there at the bottom. You can't. Don't forget the underscore in the front and a dot between his first and last name. Man, you know what? We're gonna have to find you a nice little slick monitor to go with that, like a little slick nickname. You gotta. you got to find there to kind of coin as your own.
Well, so the announcer introduced me as Yorman El Azteca Guerrero, which translates to the Aztec warrior, which I don't mind. I'm like, yeah, that's
That's
that sounds
cool.
that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like with nicknames, the people, the people, the fans, the family, they got to give that to you. You can't just come out here and call yourself something.
Yeah, you
So
can. Oh,
I
you
mean,
totally can call yourself something.
I
Listen,
mean,
half the
yeah,
cats
but
do it. Like Money Mayweather.
Hey,
Nobody gave Money
Muhammad
Mayweather his
Ali
name.
said he was the
He took
greatest
it.
before he even knew he was,
Yeah,
So
that's
you just got to take
right.
it. Just take your moniker and just live with it.
but
Well,
I mean, I don't even think you need like a boxing name. Like people are gonna remember Yorman. Like that's not. Yeah, you could go with your man. Shit,
yeah,
you better be the
Yeah.
people's man, right?
that's
Shit, that's
right.
easy.
No,
Yeah.
that's. I mean, the announcer, like I was telling him, they announced me as El Azteca Guerrero, which translates to the Aztec warrior. Which I'm like, hey,
Okay.
I don't mind. I do not mind that at all.
Hey.
You know, that's cool. Cause like I mean, I pay homage to my roots. Both my parents are Mexican. I'm Mexican. You know, I was born in Mexico, and then I came to the States as a little kid. I think I was like 5 or 6. So like,
Oh wow. Okay.
I've yeah. So like and it's funny because like when I speak, people are like, "You were born in Mexico?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, it's like you have no accent. I'm like, I mean, I can if I want to, but like I'm a Hoosier, man. What do you want me to what do you
I'm
want me
a
to tell you? Like
Hoosier.
I was
Hoosier
I
does
was
not sound Mexican. That's
what I'm saying? I was yeah, I was born and raised like I was born in Mexico and I did, I grew up there. I went to school, but then when I was younger, I came to the States. So my whole life like, I always joke with people. I'm like, "Hey, at this point I'm a Hoosier." So but I try to be for my people. I try to represent, just because like everybody that's always supporting, showing love, from story tags. Like I had some people call me, text me, so the love is always there, and I always appreciate it.
Isn't your dad your coach, right? Your dad's your coach? He was in the corner that night with you, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So I train. So Patrick McPherson is my head coach, and that's where when I
Okay.
commute up to indie boxing and grappling 3-4 days a week, and then the days that I don't go up there, I train with my dad, here in Columbus, just because gas is expensive, man. So like
You may
you
it's
lie.
not a
know,
short trip. That's a good hour away from you to go to Naptown and back. So
yep, I drive an hour there, an hour back. So, I make that trip at least, 3-4 days a week, and it's not easy on gas. But yeah, my dad was there on the corner, and then so was my other coach, Adalberto Tapia. So between Coach Pat, my dad, and Coach Berto, they're the ones that have been helping me since I was an amateur. So I'm real thankful to them. I'm real blessed to just have them and how they all work together. Um, because sometimes, um, my Coach Pat can't be there, or my dad can't be there, or Coach Top. Like it all works out in the end. So we all have good chemistry with each other.
It's good
But
to
yeah,
have a
no,
that's what's
solid
up.
team. Yeah.
yeah, but my dad loves being in the corner. He
Of
and
course.
that's and that
Of
means
course
the
he
world.
does.
Yeah, that means just having him there. I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna show you, Dad. I'm gonna show you how great I can be. So.
Are you the
Oh,
only son? Do you have any siblings? Anybody else involved
No,
in boxing?
so I'm the oldest, and then I have
Okay.
two sisters and a little brother. But I'm the
Whoa.
only one, but I'm the only one that really took boxing, and because when we were younger, me and my brother, we did taekwondo. So I don't just box. Like I have a whole extensive like martial arts background.
Background. That's
Yeah,
good.
because I did taekwondo from when I was like 11, and then my brother was doing it with me, and then he fell off, and he went to play soccer, so it's all good. But out of all my family, like I'm the only one that really pursued fighting and doing what. Uh,
Good luck to your sisters there. For anybody that wants to talk to his sisters,
Yeah, that's a problem I always grew up with. It's like it's just yeah. I always be like, look, man, just don't hurt her. You know what I'm saying?
Hands
Like,
of stones coming.
I don't want to
They're
get
gonna
in
get hurt.
trouble, but you know,
That's
you
great.
know, a couple of them, I've had to, just hey, man, we gonna have to lace them up. See, can you protect my sister? Like, I need to know.
Right. That's a good background. I have my wrestling background. I had everybody in the gym be shouting at me, "Hey, roll around! You can do MMA. You'd be a natural." And I'm like, I could get punched in the face. That doesn't bother me. The broken bones and chokeholds and
Yeah.
submissions. That's not my thing. That's never been
Oh,
my thing.
hey, those guys are scary too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love mixed martial arts. I'm a big
I'll watch
fan.
it. I'll watch
Yeah,
it.
I watch.
Yeah,
That's all I watch. I watch
Really?
boxing and UFC or any MMA fights. Like, that's all I watch. Like, I
I'll watch
really,
it.
that's all I watch. Like, I don't watch anything else but that. So
So, could you ever see stuff like get in the cage?
so long story short, I actually wanted to be like I wanted to be an MMA fighter um, when I first started because uh, when I first started fighting, like when I transitioned from Taekwondo, I started learning Jiu-Jitsu and kickboxing, and then I did want to be to be an MMA fighter, but at the time I was too fat. So it's crazy because like, and shout out to my coach. We always joke about this, but I always told him, I was like, Coach, I want to fight. And he was always like, you gotta lose some weight. So I was like, all right, cool. And then because when I first started taking training seriously, like when I was like, all right, I was actually a big boy. I was 260 pounds.
Whoa!
Yeah, I was
Really?
200. Yeah,
You
I was
were fat. You
260
weren't
pounds.
joking.
No, I'm telling you, man, I was 260 pounds, and my coach was like, you gotta lose some weight. And then I was like, all right, that's fair. And then I competed, in jiu-jitsu tournaments and grappling matches. And then I remember my first amateur fight for boxing was actually at 201 pounds. Um,
Wow.
so it's crazy to think about that because it was like 9, 10 years ago. I think I was 260 pounds, and now I fight at welterweight at 147. So
Wow.
That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
You
as far
you
as
go ahead.
go, go ahead, sorry.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but you remind me of one of my former teammates out of Lexington. If you've ever heard of Fredo, another Latino. He went by, what was his last name? He went by Alfredo the Sauce. I can't. It rhymes with his last name. Um, but he's I think he's a little shorter than you still, and he was really big coming into the gym. And yeah, Coach Reed was like, "Yeah, you ain't fighting until I say you're gonna fight. I'm not saying you either get your head knocked off."
Yeah. No,
Yeah, he sparred many a time. You asked David Flores about him. They used to spar, yeah, a couple years back. But Fredo, I'll have to get his last name for you. But yeah, he started out really big too. But man, I bet you feel a lot healthier and faster than you did back then. Oh my.
I, I feel it's crazy seeing the change. It's been a process. It's just, but losing all that weight. I always tell people, like, a lot of people say boxing changed their life, but it's like, for me it really did. You know,
Facts.
because it made me become healthy. It made me be disciplined. It made me change the way I eat, the way I work out, just everything in
Right.
general. I mean,
Right.
don't get me wrong. I'm still a fat kid at heart. I love me a good piece of steak. I'll smash a whole pizza. I still eat ice cream. Not when I'm in camp though. When I'm
Right.
in camp,
I'm
it's
right.
dialed. But right now,
I'm veggies and for me all day. Yep.
that's right. Because
Mhm.
when you're in camp, it's different. You gotta eat a certain way, train a certain way. So I always tell people, I credit everything to boxing and to my coach because he's the reason why I was pushed to lose the weight because I was like, well, I'm trying to fight. Like I really want to do this. So
Right.
if I really want to, I got to stop being fat.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's like you're doing it.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. And we're gonna keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what I always tell people because like, people ask me for advice all the time, but it's like I tell them, right? I'm not a professional. Like I'm not a nutritionist, But if I can inspire and motivate somebody to change their life, then that's awesome. And I've had a
Yep.
lot of people, in the last couple months, after my fight, people came up. They were like, "Man, you really inspire me, motivate me." I have one of my buddies that he tells me all the time, if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't love boxing the way he does, and and he's trying to pursue a career with it as well. And I'm like, hey, whatever you need, bro, like I got you. Whatever advice you need, because and you guys know it, being a fighter is not easy.
Not at all.
Mm. It
Like
makes it
people think,
easy when you want something though, because you want to do it, so you'll do anything to get there. So when it comes down to that, like people, I it's sad. I work with people that are on the unhealthy side, and I work in the food industry, outside of loving sports and being a wrestling coach. But it's like somebody I know had a major health scare, and they don't even think twice about eating a burger for lunch. Like you could eat a lot. You could eat so many foods. You could eat fruit. You could eat so many healthy. I want to eat because it tastes good, and it's like, but that's not gonna help you. But okay, so, and then you
yes,
get looked at weird because you're eating the veggie option versus the meat option. I'm like, hey, my body's telling me I want to feel good. I don't want to take a 4 o'clock nap when I have half a day left to go for me. So yeah, that's
no,
how I feel.
and honestly, like this week, like if I'm being completely honest with you guys, like I've actually this is the first week I think I've had the liberty of just eating kind of whatever I want,
Mm.
because I'm like let me treat myself a little bit. I've had a couple pints of ice cream, some pizza, some
Yeah,
but I try. And honestly, like I'm like I don't know how people do this because I haven't
all the
felt.
time, right? Yeah.
It
Yeah,
slows you down, makes you feel sluggish.
yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm like, so this whole week I'm like, man, I can't wait for it to be Monday, like because tomorrow I'm basically back on. I go back to my clean eating,
Gotcha.
following my routine. So but this week I've been enjoying myself, right? But it's like I don't know if I could do this much longer. Like, it's like when I was in camp, I was craving all these foods. I was craving Burger King really bad. And I actually,
Bur-
hey, to me, they're the best burgers. Like, I don't care In and Out, like Five, I don't care about none of that. Burger King is like my favorite.
That's
I
your
Now,
like
joint.
Wendy's. Wendy's is my burger, my once
yeah,
in a blue moon Wendy's, yeah.
would you like the Baconator?
No, I don't eat pork. Nope.
Oh, okay, okay.
Nope, no, just
What?
a regular. Yeah, no pork here. Even it was so funny. My kids haven't even had pork in the longest, in like 2 Thanksgivings ago. My daughter tries, like, my daughter can eat like a adult. Okay, she'll eat
Yeah.
2 meals if you let her. So she tries this ham, and this is how much we don't eat the belly ache and didn't even want to eat dessert. Like we just,
Yeah.
I don't.
That's
Yeah,
that's the weird thing about your body. Like once you stop eating something for like a long
right.
time and then you eat it,
Yeah.
it takes a while for your body to get used to it. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
Your body's like just no. Like I know people like who just on a raw vegan diet and
Yeah.
decide to try like a super
meat.
lean sirloin steak and it's just like
Ooh,
oh getting all
Don't get
sick. It's
me
yeah.
like I can't
started,
do it.
man. Some steak sounds good right now. I ain't gonna lie.
Wait, we're gonna get us hungry. It's dinner time right
But
now.
he needs the protein. He got to build those muscles up. He needs the protein. I ain't mad
That's
at you.
right.
You need the creatine in the steak to get the muscles going to keep that speed going. Yeah.
Hey, I do. I when I'm in camp, I do eat a lot of steak and ground beef. So I agree with you on that.
Right, you get your broccoli in too, right? Very high protein veggie. Gotta get your
Yeah. So from
broccoli. Yes.
from time to time, because I'm not big on veggies, but I do eat a lot of fruits. Like
Okay.
a lot because like most of my carbs come from either honey or fruit. So like I just that hey, I'm telling you what, fruit that's God's candy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a juicer, so I don't. I feel like I've never liked a lot of fruit, but I take my pineapple and bag of grapes, cantaloupe, grapefruit, ginger, turmeric for pain and inflammation. I put all that in my juicer and I jar my juice. So I get it
Hey,
somehow. Yep.
that's
Now look and
I need
see,
to start juicing because that sounds good.
And you
man,
make it to
I
what
never was
you
a big
like.
juicer.
You never was a juicer. You can make it to what you taste though, Haven. Like, do
Yeah,
you like with
I
grape?
know,
Yeah.
but I try to stay away from the long story short, I'm like I just turned 51, about to turn
What?
like 52 here, and literally like 2 years ago I went to the doctor. I was pre-diabetic, had
Ooh,
pre-hypertension, and the doctor was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna put you on medication, but we need you to change your lifestyle." So me and my buddy Rashawn's on the radio show with me. You know, we both hit at the same time, and I'm down not a lot. I'm down like maybe like 10, 15 pounds since then.
good for you,
That's
Uh,
man.
that's
but
good,
add a lot of
man.
muscle. But the thing is, I just have my checkup like what's the day? Today's Sunday. I have my checkup on Tuesday. Uh, I'm my no more high blood pressure. My blood pressure is normal. My sugar's normal. Like everything is like back to normal,
Yep.
and it was. But so I try to stay away even from a lot of sugary stuff. It even includes eating a
Processed
lot of
food.
fruit. It's,
Yep.
even like a lot of fruit, but like I like blueberries, raspberries.
Nice.
Drink a lot of green tea.
Mm.
I
I'm
love
back to
my
sprinting.
hibiscus, cranberry tea. I'm a tea fiend. No caffeine
Ooh,
though. I'm a tea
okay.
fiend.
And I'm back to trying to sprint now. So I do my little sprints to try to stay in shape. So
We gotta do a
yeah,
Hey,
health spiel on your 102.9 Wake Up Haven. We
I
gotta
know,
do like
right?
a health
I wake up
spiel. Yes.
5:02. We got to get on there with
hey,
Yorman. What Yorman talk about,
walking.
and Joshua Flores, he's another guy that was like a heavyweight at one point
Yep.
that
He was
just
good
dropped like
too.
a ton of weight.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. What are you saying, Yorman?
No, I was gonna say walking. Just I like walking. Walking's like my low impact. Like you know, I walk whenever it's like I'm supposed to take a rest day, but I really go for an
That's
hour,
great.
2 hour walk. But no, walking is great, man. I've had a lot of my buddies and people I know like they just walk and they've
Yep.
lost so much weight, just walking because everybody wants to go hard and lose weight, but they're just walking and you're doing what you're doing and the weight's coming off and they're a lot healthier. So,
Man,
you know,
I tell you right now, I like to walk as well. Walking will when you get to be my age, your body will thank you for it because it's really easy on your joints. You won't have any knee problems, any elbow, nothing like that. So,
To get
that's what
your
I'm
heart
worried about.
going. Heart
hmm
problems, yeah. The number one killer in America, heart disease. Yeah.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
yeah,
I thought it was diabetes, but is that the same thing?
It's a
Maybe.
number one chronic illness is
it's
diabetes, but
diabetes, but a heart
number
attack
one
kills you, takes
killer.
you out.
See, that's why I gotta be healthy. That's why I have boxing to thank, because I always joke with people. They're like, "What are you gonna
But
do
it's true. It's
when you're
true.
Oh,
older?" I'm like, I might be a.
boxing. I tell you right now, I was a track guy all through high school and college,
Okay.
and I would tell you right now, the times I've been in gym training, nothing nothing out there gets you like it's harder to me like on your cardiovascular system boxing. And people
Yep.
think, hey, we don't know what you're talking about. I'm telling you, just if you just stood in place and just threw your arms for 3 minutes
Fact.
straight, it
Fact.
would
You're
it
gonna
would
burn
kill
out.
you. It would just kill you. Now imagine doing that and then try to avoid getting hit and running around at the same time.
It's it, it's stressful, man. That's why I always tell people. That's why I always respect anybody that steps into that ring and the cage on the mat because it's like, yeah, they're 3 minute rounds, but you're gonna get
Those
tired
are
after a couple. That
those are
You
first three.
feel like
3 minutes.
3 minutes is 3 damn years up in there, I'm telling you.
That's what
I
I'm
was
saying.
riding racehorses. I thought I was fit when I took a couple like little personal lessons for fitness. I wasn't even fight yet. And I'm on racehorses every day. Like the machine where you pull down and back. That's what I do on racehorses. I lay on my horse and then I get boxed. I'm like, about to get fit now.
I guess I haven't been. I thought I was. Yeah,
No,
man.
that's it is. It's hard. That's what I always tell people. I'm
Hardest
like,
sport. They say the
that's
hardest
why I
sport to do.
respect. That's why I respect anybody that steps into the ring, cage, the mat, because it's like, I understand, the dedication and how tired you're gonna be, you know, because
Hmm.
like I hate there's no worse feeling than being tired and you have to fight, you know,
No worse
because
feeling. You
like
Facts.
can't breathe and you got to punch every time.
that's like that happened to me early in my amateur career, and I told myself I never want to feel like this ever again. I never want to be out of shape because it's the worst, especially when you got people watching you, and then your coach is like, pick it up, and you're like, Coach, I'm tired, man, I'm tired, boss.
You're like, pick
Ain't
it
nothing to
up.
pick
I
up.
just did.
So no, that's one thing I stress now. Like I'm like, when I like if I know I have a fight, I'm like, all right, I gotta get fight shape ready. I gotta make sure that I can deliver. That way, I can perform to how I want, how my coaches want, and just make
Yep.
sure I don't gas out. Because I'll tell you what, being tired mid fight or in a fight is the worst feeling. Like
Never
I
knew
thought
it. My coach
I
wouldn't
thought
let me
breakup was
fight.
bad, but no, breakups are easy compared to being tired in the ring. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you gotta push yourself.
So it's just one of those things, man. It's hard on the body, but it's great. It's great for the soul. Like
Definitely.
I have a lot to thank for boxing. Boxing has given me so many good opportunities. From meeting people. Right now, I'm on a podcast with you guys. Talking about boxing. It's just boxing has opened a lot of doors for me, and just giving me a lot of opportunities in life. And that's one thing that I want to do when I'm older is look back and not have any regrets. And just say, hey, I did everything I said I was gonna do, and I have no regrets.
That's right.
So
That's what's up. That's what. So before we get out of here, once again, like rep your gym, let everybody know what you're doing next, where they can find you, and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
And
come
I
back
and
and
I help
tell
you
us
out.
next time. Yep, yep.
So I want to give a shout out to my boxing gym, my boxing family up at Indie Boxing and Grappling. Everybody there, from my teammates to my coaches. Everybody's great. That's the gym I rep. That's where I fight out of from. I live in Columbus, Indiana, but I commute 3-4 days a week up there. Um, and as far as like what's next right now is we're just gonna keep climbing the ranks. Getting these fights, um, keep building my record, keep building up my social media, and then that way, you know, you're gonna see me on TV. You're gonna see me on the world stage. So that's the plan.
Big goals, big goals.
Man,
Yep.
that's
Yes.
what's up. That's what's up. I would call
Thanks
you
for
by your,
joining
your
us.
stage name, but you don't have one yet. But as soon as you do, give us a call, man. I want to have you back on the show, and we can talk
Can't
about your
forget
next fight.
Yorman Guerrero.
Yor-
Yes. Next.
Yorman Guerrero. That's right.
That's
See.
right. Don't forget your very next fight, man. Call us back because I want to have you on here.
Oh, for sure. No, you guys are great. I
Yep.
love it. I
Mucho
love listening.
gusto.
That's right.
And even better
Poquito,
yet,
poquito.
we may even come to the gym and check you out.
Hey,
Yeah.
you guys let me know. You guys are more than welcome to. Whenever
Awesome.
you guys want to make the drive, I'd be honored. So you guys just let me know, and we'll keep in touch, and hopefully next time, we do another interview, another great thing will happen, and we're just moving up in life. So
All right then.
Hey, there
Good.
we go. Yorman Guerrero. Check him out on IG. Right there's it's scrolling across the bottom right now. So go ahead and check him out. Once again, you can check us out every Sunday right here at Main Event Combat. Subscribe, like, and share to all your friends. Main Event Combat on YouTube, Main Event Combat on Facebook, and Main Event Combat on Twitter. We're here. Check us out. And until next week,
I'm gonna give y'all a shout out on the.
peace.
Nice. And as I always say, keep the fighting in the ring and be kind to everybody.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. No, I appreciate
Thanks.
you guys having me on. Thank you guys so much for